Not just any city, a metropolis. Tens of thousands of people surrounding you. The smell of cook fires, the sound of children, the hum of commerce, the rhythm of a civilization at its peak. Now imagine that city vanishes. Not in fire, not in flood, not in conquest. It just stops. The people walk away. The buildings fall silent. The plazas empty. And within a generation, the forest swallows everything whole. No one knows why. This happened in what is now the American Midwest, along the banks of the Mississippi River, roughly 700 years ago. And we still don't have a satisfying explanation. Welcome to Hidden History Files. Tonight, we're going to a place most Americans have never heard of, even though it was, at its height, one of the largest cities on Earth. We're going to Cahokia. Let me start with a number that should stop you cold. In the year 1050 AD, 450 years before Columbus, the city of Cahokia had an estimated population of between 10,000 and 20,000 people. By 1100 AD, that figure may have reached 30,000. In the year 1250 AD, London, capital of England, one of the most powerful cities in the medieval world, had a population of roughly 18,000 people. Cahokia was bigger, and it wasn't just large, it was sophisticated. Cahokia covered more than 5 square miles and contained over 120 earthen mounds. The largest, now called Monk's Mound, rises 100 feet into the sky and covers 14 acres at its base. Monk's Mound is the largest pre-Columbian earthwork structure in North America. At its base, it is larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. There is a pyramid in Illinois. Most people have never heard of it. Monk's Mound contains roughly 22 million cubic feet of earth, all of it moved by hand, in baskets, by thousands of workers over generations. On top sat a wooden temple, or the residence of Cahokia's ruler. From its summit, you could see the entire city spread below. Plazas, ceremonial mounds, neighborhoods, stockade walls, agricultural fields stretching to the horizon. This was not a village. This was a city, with all the infrastructure, hierarchy, and ambition that word implies. The people we call the Mississippian culture built Cahokia. They were farmers who cultivated corn, beans, and squash. They were traders whose networks stretched from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. They were engineers, artists, astronomers, and priests. For roughly 300 years, Cahokia was the beating heart of their world. The city was organized around a massive central plaza, roughly the size of 35 football fields, deliberately flattened and maintained for ceremonies, markets, and gatherings. Surrounding it, the mounds rose in precise geometric arrangements that suggest astronomical alignment and deliberate city planning. To the west of Monk's Mound, archaeologists discovered something remarkable: a series of large post holes, the remnants of massive wooden posts arranged in precise arcs. They called it Woodhenge. Like its famous European counterpart, Cahokia's Woodhenge was a solar calendar. Standing at its center on the spring equinox, the rising sun aligns perfectly with Monk's Mound on the eastern horizon. The same precision appears on the solstices and fall equinox. The people of Cahokia were tracking the movements of the heavens. They were marking time, predicting seasons, organizing the agricultural and ceremonial life of an entire civilization. This is not primitive. This is science. This is civilization, expressed in wood and earth rather than stone. But Cahokia was also a place of dark ritual. In 1967, archaeologists excavating Mound 72 found the burial of a high-status individual. A man laid on a bed of more than 20,000 shell beads, arranged in the shape of a falcon. Nearby were the remains of over 250 other individuals, many young women, in mass graves that strongly suggest ritual sacrifice. Trade was another pillar of Cahokia's strength. Artifacts found at the site include copper from the Great Lakes, mica from the Appalachians, shells from the Gulf of Mexico, and obsidian from the American West. Cahokia was at the center of a vast continental web of exchange. For 300 years, this city endured. And then, with startling speed, it ended. By 1200 AD, the signs were already appearing. The population began to decline, slowly at first, then faster. The outer neighborhoods emptied. The mounds were no longer being built. By 1300 AD, Cahokia was largely abandoned. By 1400 AD, it was empty. No European ever saw it occupied. When French explorers arrived in the 17th century, the mounds were overgrown and unexplained. Even the native peoples they encountered claimed no connection to whoever had built them. So what happened? There is no consensus, no single clean explanation, only theories, each with evidence, each with problems. Theory 1. Environmental collapse. The most widely accepted explanation involves the environment. To feed tens of thousands of people, the surrounding forests were cleared for farmland. This deforestation degraded soil, reduced rainfall retention, and made the region more vulnerable to flooding. Sediment cores taken near Cahokia reveal a massive flood event around 1150 AD, exactly when the population decline begins. The same cores show prolonged drought in the late 1200s, precisely when the final abandonment occurred. The same droughts that ended ancestral Puebloans at Chaco Canyon, the Maya cities of the Yucatan, and the Norse settlements of Greenland may have reached Cahokia too. A city built on corn cannot survive without rain. Theory 2. Political collapse. But environmental stress alone rarely destroys a civilization. Around 1175 AD, a massive wooden stockade wall was built around Cahokia's central precinct. This is not the behavior of a confident society. It is the behavior of a society under threat, from within. The wall was rebuilt at least 3 times. Each rebuilding required enormous resources. Toward the end, Cahokia's elite maintained power through increasingly coercive means, more sacrifices, more elaborate displays of wealth, more walls. It's a pattern archaeologists recognize worldwide. When a society begins to fail, its rulers often respond not with reform, but with repression. And repression accelerates collapse. Theory 3. Something faster. A more controversial theory involves epidemic disease. Dense urban populations are uniquely vulnerable to infectious illness. Shared water sources, large public gatherings, thousands of people in close quarters. Some researchers propose that a disease event struck Cahokia in the 13th century with devastating speed. The final abandonment happened faster than environmental collapse alone can explain. Something acute may have occurred, something that convinced the surviving population of one of North America's greatest cities to simply leave and not come back. What makes Cahokia's abandonment so haunting is not just the speed of the collapse, it's the silence that followed. Abandoned cities are typically reoccupied. The infrastructure, the cleared land, the central location attract new populations. Rome contracted and rebuilt. Constantinople fell and became Istanbul. Cahokia was different. The site remained empty for centuries. The native nations of the region had no oral traditions that clearly identified Cahokia as a place built by their ancestors. When asked, they attributed the mounds to an earlier, different people. This suggests the abandonment was not simply a migration, a people moving while maintaining their identity. it suggests something more fundamental broke down. A civilization did not relocate. It dissolved. The descendants of Cahokia's people survived. Genetic and linguistic evidence connects them to various Siouan and Algonquian peoples of the region. But the Cahokian identity, the specific cultural continuity of this great city, vanished with it. The people who built the largest earthwork in North America left behind no written language. Their oral traditions were disrupted by centuries of dispersal, conflict, and eventually European colonization. We are left with the mounds. They sit today in a state park in Collinsville, Illinois, just outside St. Louis. In 1982, Cahokia Mounds was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized alongside the Pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, and the Great Wall of China as one of humanity's most significant cultural achievements. It receives about 300,000 visitors a year. The Colosseum in Rome receives nearly 10 million. The disproportion tells you which histories we choose to remember and which ones we leave in the grass. I want to leave you with something that has stayed with me since I first learned about Cahokia. We live in a culture that is very confident about its own permanence. We build cities and assume they will endure. We create institutions and expect them to persist. We tell ourselves that civilization, once achieved, tends to compound. Cahokia challenges that at its root. Here was a city as sophisticated, as large, as interconnected as any in the medieval world. It had integrated thousands of people from across a continent. It had developed astronomy, agriculture, architecture, trade, religion, and government. And it didn't make it. Not because of an external enemy. There is no evidence of military conquest. But because of the slow accumulation of stresses the civilization could not adapt to. Climate, inequality, resource depletion, political fragility, perhaps disease. The story of Cahokia is, in a very uncomfortable way, a mirror. Every civilization that has ever existed believed it was different, that it had figured something out. That collapse applied to others, the Romans, the Maya, the Egyptians, but not to them. The people of Cahokia almost certainly felt this way too. And yet, the mounds remain. The people are gone. The city that was bigger than London has been forgotten so thoroughly that most Americans living within 50 miles of it have never heard its name. That is the real hidden history. If you ever find yourself near St. Louis, visit Cahokia Mounds. Stand at the base of Monk's Mound and try to imagine 30,000 people living around you. Then climb to the top. Look out at the flat suburban landscape in every direction and ask yourself, what happened here? Because the answer, as we've explored tonight, is we don't entirely know. And that uncertainty is the most important thing. In a world where we think we know so much, Cahokia is a reminder that the past keeps its secrets. And the deepest secrets are often buried in our own backyard. I'm your host. This has been Hidden History Files. Share this with someone who thinks they know American history. Subscribe for new episodes every week. And remember, the history they didn't teach you is always the most important kind.